I'm not pretending that I haven't already started this story, and due to technical reasons we had to restart it.
Technical reasons that your connection sucks.
Not no.
Yes, your connection.
What I was saying was, at Christmas...
You have a tiny connection?
At my family's Christmas dinner, I stole jokes from Christmas crackers in order to read it in these podcasts, and they kept on getting lost on my desk because I fill my desk with random stuff.
Is this where you're going to bring up the fact that you found that rice cracker like underneath your keyboard and you can't remember the last time you ate Chinese?
I wasn't going to bring that up because I don't want people to think I'm a slob.
Oh dear.
I just happened to find an old prawn cracker underneath my keyboard. I don't know how it got there. It's been a long time since I've eaten Chinese food, especially in front of my PC. So I don't know. I don't want to know.
You're probably going to get like gangrene or something from unhealthy lifestyle.
No, I have a healthy life. It's mostly random, unedible things that I fill my desk with. Like, we've read out some of them before.
I remember the last time I was there, and your room hasn't changed since 97 or something like that.
I have 5 bottle caps. That's in case a nuclear war happens, because I just assume after the war we'll go the Fallout route and bottle caps will be currency.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Well, I assume the gamers will survive because they'll be in their hovels, whereas everyone else who's outside will burn.
What I don't get about that, right, is that they're using bottle caps as currency, because money suddenly vanished? I mean, you probably find it's easier to get a hold of money lying around in an apocalypse than bottle caps.
Yeah, I'm never quite sure what the thinking is behind that.
I guess
because you do find money everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. You find more money than you find bottle caps. That's probably why, because bottle caps are rarer.
Well, that's possible, but it also annoys me that I've like got 5,000 bottle caps. Where the fuck do I keep them? I've got 5,000 bottle caps on my person. Where are they?
In your socks.
Whereas if you had $5,000 money, that wouldn't be so bad.
It depends how small the change was.
Can I tell these Christmas jokes now, even though it's February?
I'd rather you didn't, but okay.
All right, I won't tell them all then. I'll tell they're weird ones because they come with a joke and a bit of trivia on each of them.
The purpose of all Christmas jokes that you get out of the crackers
are to be terrible.
Are to be awful. Just awful. They're so bad, they're probably going to give you cancer.
Are they meant to be morbid, though? Because I think one of them's a bit... in fact, they're both quite a bit morbid.
Let's find out.
One of them is, my friend drowned in a bowl of muesli. That's a question, apparently, even though it's a statement. Answer, he was pulled in by a strong current. So that's a humorous joke about death there. And then on the other one, it's, why are graveyards so noisy? At least that one's a question. Do you know what the answer is?
Why?
Because of all the coughing. That doesn't even make sense, because it should be coffins. But then the bad joke wouldn't work.
Oh, God. I don't even have the words. I really don't. God. Where's CR?
Robin Reed, surveyors of the finest English crackers. If that's the best we can do, we deserve to be blown up in a nuke.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Brain Go Hurty Gaming Podcast, your fortnightly dose of inane gaming banter and random news. I'm Blighty, I'm the one that's full of all the toxins, all the alcohol, nicotine, all that fatty, greasy food. I'm joined by Flick, who's probably full of nutritious hatred, is that right?
With a side dish of cynicism.
It is true though that you're the sort of the health eater and stuff, and I'm the one that I'm sitting here fueled with alcohol and takeout and nicotine.
Well, you say that, but the prawn cracker.
Yeah, I suppose. Not the most healthy lifestyle.
If anyone's lost a prawn cracker...
It doesn't have like a little like collar on it saying, if found, please return to...
I hope not, because I fed it to my dog.
Cannibalism.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Which dog?
On the sub... oh yeah, there's another one running around. Don't worry about that. I've been sleep deprived for a week, but it's starting to wear off now. The puppy yelping in the middle of the night.
This wouldn't.
But I have a cold.
Be on the back of the supermarket being raided for sleeping pills recently.
Was there?
No. making things up for
You
humor.
made that sound so believable that something would happen here.
I'm a very good liar.
Criminals who aren't very smart bust into a supermarket and they think, sleeping pills. We've got to get them. We can sell them to anyone.
I distinctly remember reading a piece of news somewhere about a guy that on 3 separate occasions went into a Walmart in the States and robbed different things each time. But one of the things they stole was a vibrator.
Oh my God.
Of all the things, like he stole, I think the reason why I came across this piece of news is he stole a game or something like that. So it hit one of the sites that decide that anything that has any remote reference
Don't say any one of the sites. You mean Kotaku. It's the only one that does any old shit with a tenuous link to gaming.
Yeah, okay. That's it.
He did a story about a guy who got beaten up or murdered or something just because prior to getting lured out by 2 women, he happened to be playing a game. I mean, how is that?
Do you want to hear the latest one then? The latest of the entertaining, briefly gaming-related pieces from Kotaku.
First of all, we will just say this is a gaming podcast. Bear with us.
We are talking about gaming. This is entirely about gaming.
We're no closer to gaming than the story you're about to make fun of, but carry on.
But this is that. Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Basically, it's a news piece on a guy that died in an internet cafe in Thailand.
Oh, this, yeah.
And I mean, marathon gaming sessions aren't exactly new to us. I mean, I'm fairly certain that you've probably played Final Fantasy. Let's go with Final Fantasy 11 because that's the obvious one. But you've probably pegged in at least a 12-hour stint on that game at one point in your life.
I would have thought so. I do remember also one occasion on it. I stayed up until about 5 in the morning. In fact, you were here. I stayed up until 5 in the morning while you started off the bed. Just to get a weapon skill.
That probably sounds about right. I mean, I can remember there was a particular weapon I was trying to get pieces to craft on Warcraft, and I stayed up till something like 8, 9 in the morning doing that. It's insane the sort of things that people do for MMOs. But anyway, this guy in an internet cafe died, and nobody noticed he was dead for about 9 hours.
Because they're dank places that I thought they always had waitresses coming around trying to flog more drinks and things, but
it depends on the type of cafe. I
should also point out he was treated for a heart condition, even though he was only 3, so that's what killed him, not just playing a game for a long period of time.
It doesn't help that if you're sat there not moving for a while, not because you're dead. This is before you died, but sat there not moving for a lengthy period of time, it causes all manner of problems.
This dead body's got a bad case of the not moving.
So we like to start off the podcast normally with what we've been playing, but I've hazarded a guess that this is going to be a growing trend at the moment where MMO fever has taken hold, and it's very heavy. On my side, I'll just cut mine straight to the chase. All I have been playing since the last podcast is Star Wars, The Old Republic. I have not played anything else. I have not actually played anything else.
That's a first.
Yeah, so...
Do you want to talk about it a bit first?
Yeah, just after launching my keyboard across the floor. I got a bit excited.
Rage!
Yeah, no, I have not played anything else at all. Anything.
Oh, not even Amnesia?
No. Sorry, Noodles. Sorry.
It's addictive. I can't help it.
When we get to 50, we'll probably stop. Well, not stop, but I mean...
We'll not stop, but we'll go a bit lax on playing it.
We'll go a bit limp.
Speak for yourself.
How many erection references can I put into the podcast? Right, so what have you been playing for the last 2 weeks then, aside from The Old Republic?
Well, I've actually been playing quite a few different things, other than The Old Republic, which I'm sure we'll talk about more. Incidentally, if you want to try and wean yourself off of Old Republic, there's a Skyrim mod that adds lightsabers, so I thought maybe if you don't want to be addicted to Old Republic, you can go back to being addicted to Skyrim. I tried it earlier, it's very good.
It sounds
all
like
the realistic sound effects, etc.
I might have a wee look at that, but my problem with Skyrim is that I have it in my head that I'm not. You're going to hate this, but I'm maybe not really enjoying the type of class that I've gone.
Again,
yeah, I'm thinking of playing as like a sort of paladin type person, but effort and all that.
You could always just play the tank on Imperial side when we do that on Old Republic.
That's not the same. We'd be playing as
totally the same.
A bounty hunter or something I'll end up as. So, anyway.
What the hell is this? Someone, like that person we almost murdered is annoying me when I'm saying because he knows we're recording right now. So at first he was just making spammy messages and then he said, make me a Scottish cake, which probably involves goat balls and donkey anus, lol. And now he's done sort of some long paragraph. There are 3 people on a plane, and it's going down. One is a cook, the other is a chef, and the third is a soldier. So they all throw something out of the plane. The cook throws an apple, then parachutes down. The footballer throws a football and parachutes down. The soldier throws a live grenade, then parachutes down. Then the chef lands and sees a crying kid and says, "What's wrong?" And the kid says, "An apple hit me on the head." Then a football player lands and sees a crying kid also and asks, "What's wrong?" And the kid says, "A football hit me on the head." And then the soldier lands and sees a kid laughing and says, "What's so funny?" No, I can't finish that. That's terrible.
Did the grenade kill the other 2 people?
No, even worse than that.
What?
The soldier lands, sees the kid laughing. He says, "Why are you laughing?" He says, "My dad farted and the house blew up."
That's not funny.
No. It's just that he took the effort to write out that huge paragraph with absolutely no punctuation, might I add.
He possibly copy-pasted it.
Oh, he's probably. Right, anyway, we're doing what I was playing. Other than Old Republic, I have been playing a bit of Saints Row, just an achievement hunt, because I forgot about that. Saints Row 3.
What was the point of that? You know that we're going to be playing Saints Row at some point when we get over addiction.
I don't intend to be playing as a woman when we play it. So
why not?
There's an achievement playing as 2 hours as a woman. I don't know. I almost rethought it because one of the women's voices you can pick is my Jedi companion on Old Republic.
All right.
Believe it or not. Although I still prefer the male one because it's the lead from Disgaea 4 and he's very funny. But yeah, I've played a little bit of that just to clean up achievements, just for an excuse to have my Xbox on, because it has almost been over a month since I last had it switched on.
Is there even more dust on it than normal? I know that your room's usually quite dusty.
Yes.
Once again, pointing out how unhealthy, yeah.
It's probably explains why I've got a dust allergy. Come to think of it.
You're allergic to dust because you live in dust.
Yeah.
It's all bits of dead skin and stuff, you know that, right? I mean, it's just
I do know that, yes.
All the gunk and debris from your body. Ugh.
Yeah, get back to me on good hygiene when you stop smoking. Anyway, the other thing I've been playing is Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS, which I wrote the review for and has got posted this morning, I think.
The review?
The review.
You mean a review for?
No, I mean the review.
The only one. Was it
the only good one.
Was it a good review?
It was a good review. I give it 8 out of 10. Only fell down because...
So that's by your standards, that's good, but by normal gaming standards, you've just basically said it was a flop. Because we've covered this before, that unless you give it a 10, an absolutely glorious 10, then it's
awful.
Then it's awful and unplayable.
Yeah. So the only reason I marked it down is because even though you go in expecting a really cheesy story, this kind of it goes really heavy on cheese.
Some cheese with cheese.
It's split into episodes, and at the start of each episode, it's a bit like Alan Wake. It's previously on Resident Evil Revelations, and
But that worked in Alan Wake.
No, it did. Well, it kind of did because it added nice soundtracks, and it wasn't as cheesy.
Do you know,
it was unnecessary though.
I'm holding off going back and playing Alan Wake again because when we eventually move house, hopefully at the end of the year, and we're designing like this sort of gaming room.
Gaming cave.
It is going to be the gaming cave.
Can you get a sign on the door that says that?
I'll make it. I'll make one. It's not a problem.
Get your nephew or something to scribble it on a bit of wood and have that.
He can't even talk yet, let alone write.
But he can get kill shots on whatever you were telling me about that other day.
I don't think he can quite do that yet, but he can load up the BBC iPlayer, find the channel on the show that he wants, pause it to allow it to stream long enough, and then hit play. And he's 25 months old now?
He'll be getting kill streaks on Call of Duty in no time.
Yeah, he'll be teabagging people before.
Yeah, and he'll be at the same intelligence level as the older playing. So tactics won't be an issue.
Exactly. So you've been playing Resident Evil and you're enjoying it.
Pretty much finished with the story because I finished it. It was a 10-hour story, which I thought was pretty decent for a handheld.
I was just thinking that for a handheld game, that's not too bad. I mean, for a handheld game of that caliber, I mean, go back and look at, say, Final Fantasy Tactics. The story for that's longer than 10 hours, I would imagine.
Yeah. And graphics are good, and I think I'm not going to be able to explain this really well. I tried so hard to explain this in the review I wrote. It uses the 3D, I think, in a way that almost makes it worthwhile, more than a gimmick. But I can't really put it into words. I sat there in the review for ages trying to think how to word it, and I kind of just settled on saying, although 3D is a gimmick and it always will be, every shot and cutscene seems designed so that it looks better in 3D. So maybe
that's how they do movies and stuff these days. But the problem with that is that because they design almost like the choreography and the scene with 3D in mind, it kind of fucks up the way that traditional cinematography works. It's like they intentionally make it so that you're at a certain camera angle for that, just so the 3D effect works for you in the best possible way. And then you feel cheated because it's like they're trying to force the 3D on you rather than going, right, well, the 3D would work quite nicely for this particular part of the film, we'll incorporate it in. That's how I felt, especially with, if you see like Resident Evil, I can't remember what it's called, the most recent Resident Evil one or whatever.
Shit Cash in number 4.
Shit Cash in number 4.
Or 5, God, there's tons of them. Either way, I'm impressed with how they use the 3D in this one, and it's the same kind of 3D that was in Mercenaries as well, so it doesn't give me a headache, which is also another plus. I was going to say,
how did you manage to get through 10 hours of storyline without bleeding your eyes?
I didn't play it all in a oneer. I played it in like 2 5-hour sessions.
But you played it all in 3D?
I did play it with 3D always on, and it also has raid mode, which is the co-op of it, and I really enjoy that as well. It goes all RPG. You get levels, and weapons have levels.
If I drink enough of this slow gin, everything goes 3D, and I get like RPG stats and
everything is already 3D.
Wait, what?
I said everything is already 3D.
But my hands look so real.
That's never mind. Now, interestingly, I was looking into some reviews were a bit more negative on it than me, and I don't really understand why, but I was reading some of the comments as well, which is always dangerous. And there seemed to be an opinion shared with quite a few people that they're not going to bother buying it on the 3DS, partly because they probably don't have a 3DS, but also because they know, in inverted commas, that it's going to be ported onto the Vita or something else in the future.
And they're just hoping that it'll do that, and then they can buy the Vita, and then that's it, solved problem.
Yeah, for those who don't want a Nintendo console because they're not 5 or mentally 5.
It's not just that though. I mean, if that's the only game worthwhile getting on the 3DS, then if it comes out with something else, then I mean, like one of our friends who's a bit of a Resident Evil fiend that we've talked about before has bought consoles in the past purely for the next Resident Evil title.
Yeah.
Did Resident Evil 5 come out on the 360 before it came out on the PS3? Is that what I'm thinking? No. Wait, it's because the 360 came out before the PS3. That's why he got one, thinking that Resident Evil might be out first on the 360.
And it wasn't. Didn't it come out at the same time on both consoles? I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah, he'd sold his 360 by that point. but he'd bought the console specifically for it. And there will always be fanboys like that.
That is a dedicated fan. I mean, I am a fan of the Resident Evil games, but I wouldn't go that far. I already had a 3DS. I wouldn't have bought a 3DS to play this, even though I did like it.
I don't think that there's any console that I would just buy the next console just for one game. I don't think that would ever happen for me.
I did do that for Disgaea 3 though, but we'll brush over that.
I mean, there have been times that I've thought about, say like upgrading a PC to get, make it capable of playing new games, but that's never been solely for one game because it improves on all the existing games I'm playing and allows me to play any future ones.
The box art for Revelations in the US had a spelling error on it.
I bet the Americans didn't notice. Sorry.
It was Resident Evil Revelations.
Revelations?
And you think, how the hell can something slip by that? And then you think, well, bears find it difficult to use a keyboard. So.
More salmon.
That terrible joke was brought to you by CR, who also bought me a game I haven't tried yet, so I can't really include this into what we're playing, but I'm going to anyway. He gifted me Penumbra, Black Plague, Overture, and Requiem, which I think is a horror game.
That's quite a mouthful. That's quite a big...
No, that wasn't one game. It's Penumbra, and then each of the 3, I don't know, expansions or something.
Right.
As I say, I haven't even installed them yet because Old Republic addiction.
This is probably a good point to note that he got me XCOM. And I pointed this out around Christmas time or something, but
The original.
I haven't actually got around to even installing that yet. There's been too many things.
No, it's not too many things. Just one really addictive thing.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
I see. To be perfectly honest, it's not as addictive as some of the other MMOs I've played.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this if it was. Probably.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd be drip feeding ourselves on Jedis and those blue elephants that you keep killing and trouble with your girlfriend every time you do.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I found that
real life and games, two completely different things. I know that some people can manage to get these blurred, real life and gaming,
Real life consequences for murdering fictional blue elephants.
Yeah, basically I get it in the neck every time I act like a jackass in the game. And not to other people, to NPCs, to polygons. Because it happens to be somebody that sounds perfectly innocent or gets kind of upset when I fuck them over, or...
How could you hate those noises those little elephants made, those poor blue elephants?
I didn't kill any.
You locked them in a room that would eventually run out of air or he'd starve to death. Either way,
he locked himself in that room. I just broke the lock.
We're now discussing it like it's a real thing, and then you laughed convincingly evilly. That's reminding me, one person once did a danced evilly emote in a MMO, and it really bothered me because how can you dance evilly? How can you dance in an evil manner unless it's on someone's corpse?
By twiddling the ends of your mustache while you do it.
But that's twiddling your mustache evilly. That's not dancing evilly. If anyone knows how to dance evilly, please write in braingohurty@gmail.com.
That's a good point. I mean, that's like saying, how do you dance happily?
Well, all dancing is generally happy, isn't it? Or elegant. Depending on the type.
No, I've seen some pretty unelegant dancing.
Or like an emo dancing, where they just kind of shuffle from side to side, occasionally bagging the hair out of their eye.
Mosh pit style.
That's a South Park joke, I think.
So,
are we still on what we're playing, even though we've technically not really played much of anything? I was going to get us to play the multiplayer co-op demo of the Syndicate remake.
I was going to say to you about that, and then you pointed out this.
This? Oh, you want me to jump in there? For some reason, I thought you were going to show a picture. Oh, my poor head.
Texting you a picture of my nuts right now.
No, I'm not your brother. I don't want to see that.
Oh. Oh dear.
So I watched a video of footage from the co-op demo of it, and it is one of the worst HUDs I have ever seen in a game. There's just so much shit on the screen. So many readings and health bars, and you can tell it's trying to be helpful, but
too much helpful.
Yeah. Like one person commented on it saying they need to put more things on the HUD. I could almost see the game at one point. And it feels like that.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so it's not that I was interested in it anyway, because it's just a generic first-person shooter. It's not anything like Syndicate.
But bringing back the franchise might mean that they do a reboot of, the old Syndicate Wars games and stuff, because they were good.
So they go the XCOM route of doing a remake that everyone hates, and so then they decide to remake the original.
Yeah, sure, why not?
How it was, I mean, not like as a first-person or whatever.
That's the logic of the day. And then all you do to finish it off is that you only release half the game and the other half comes out as DLC.
Yes.
And then
so
that's all gaming satire for the last 2 years.
So I think that's us wrapped up what we're playing anyway. On a final Old Republic note, 1.7 million people are playing. I think that's based on the people who went through to their first payment after the free month you get for buying.
Apparently the statistics came from the 31st of December, which doesn't actually mean that anybody's actually paid. It just means that when they put in...
that's how many...
It means that they put in their details and so on. Like when you register to get your game active, you have to put in like a credit card information.
So it's not how many people have played, it's how many people have bought at that point.
Pretty much. Have actually activated accounts.
Yeah. Because it seems like they have too many servers a bit, because the servers seem a bit empty.
Now, that's not entirely true.
I'm aware there are instances of each planet, but it doesn't seem necessary either.
No, but part of the problem is that we are spending a lot of time on the Republic, and the Republic is severely undermanned.
You forget I'm leveling up a Sith that's in its 40s now. It's not hugely different. It's not a massive difference.
Well, we'll know whether or not they're lying when suddenly the server list drops down considerably in size to try to fix things out. But, I mean, there are definitely servers that, there's a lot of people. Maybe they're all endgame. Maybe that's the problem. Everybody's much higher level than us.
Because we've been going at kind of semi-slow co-op pace.
Semi-slow? We've been going at it at a fucking rate of knots. Just not 24 hours a day.
Well, that's true, I suppose, yeah. And we are doing every quest, even though we're now ridiculously over-leveled.
But, all in all, you're enjoying it?
Yes, I am. I like the story of my class. I like the story of my Sith as well. I've tested a few other stories, and I like them. It's still keeping my interest. Anyway, that's the bottom line for now.
Do you think it will continue to do so? I asked this the last time, but I'm asking it periodically. But do you think that it will continue to keep your interest, say, 6 months down the line?
It will very much depend on what they add and what they expand. I noticed that Torhead site, that's where you found out about the HK-47 being added, because they've data mined. But the data mining is only really showing what flashpoints they're going to be adding, not anything else they're going to be adding.
It's a tricky one.
It depends. But let's not talk about Old Republic for too long anymore. Let's go on to Misk.
Let's jump on to... I'll feed off of that onto other MMO news. The one thing that I've pulled out from this is that we tested Rift for a little while, and you didn't think it was worth paying for. But now there is a sort of trial that lets you play with unlimited time up to level 20.
Unlimited time up to level 20, I mean... we played for 3 days and got to nearly that, didn't we?
Maybe something along those lines. But rather than giving you
that, though. It wasn't just not wanting to pay for it.
You just didn't think there was enough content and stuff.
I didn't like the classes, really. I didn't like the character designs.
That's the thing about the Old Republic. I don't like the classes.
I like being a Jedi.
Sometimes being a Jedi isn't enough.
Although I also like being the Imperial agent. I think that's quite fun because it's very spy-like, his storyline, and it fits the character and the class.
So I think what's happening there is that they're trying to say, look, we've had all this new content here, come and have a little test of it, and hope to try and recuperate.
Clearly they're struggling, and if you remember, I got my editor to ask when they interviewed the guys from Rift, are you going to go the free-to-play route? And they said, no, we've got far too much content to do that. So this is just one step away from doing that.
Well, what seems to be happening is that because because Warcraft is whenever it pumps out new content, it's like in a big blob, but it's very, very, very spaced out. So everybody else that's competing with them is trying to do lots and lots of little blobs. It's like, look, content, and they're trying to convince people that what they're doing is updating the game with lots of new stuff more often than WoW is. But they're not actually adding that much. Whereas every time WoW does one of these big content dumps, it's like a whole new game each time.
What a wonderful metaphor, content dump.
Content dump.
Especially fitting for WoW, I think.
Going for a big steaming content dump.
Content dump.
Give me a
all
paper to
over
read.
the players. No wonder they stopped playing when they brought in those panda things.
So, continuing
you mentioned... Oh, hang on. You might be about to bring this up, actually. When you mentioned Warhammer, something related to that?
Yes. Continuing on with the MMO theme, it's looking like 40k Online is possibly going to get cancelled.
Yeah, because...
you know what? I'm going to call it right now. It's getting cancelled.
Yeah, I think so, because THQ are in a little bit of financial trouble.
They're basically struggling to find somebody to financially back them on the project, because an MMO is very, very expensive.
Yeah, apparently Old Republic's the most expensive ever made to date.
Not only have you got to put all of the initial investment down on getting it built, but then you've got to maintain it afterwards, which is not something you really have to emphasize when dealing with a standalone game. So
they're only one of many people that have had quite bad years, and yet people who were supporting SOPA and Pippa, which after we spoke about last time now aren't happening. Although there is also a European version which is coming into force unless it gets tackled quite quickly. That's even worse.
Oh, it probably will just get shat on to great height.
What I better do. But anyway, one of the main reasons the music and movie industries argue about that is because gaming is killing them. And to a point that's true, but it isn't stopping them from posting losses. And I've got some probably a bit boring numbers.
Feel free to fast forward past the boring numbers.
But even though last year, Game, which is like the biggest retailer of games in this country.
In the UK, yeah.
Yeah, they made £1 billion last year. £1 billion, and yet their shares plummeted by 90%. So their net worth went down from 261 million to 23 million, even though they made £1 billion.
It's quite crazy.
It is.
That is.
I'm not entirely sure. Like, the thing I found reporting on it didn't list any things. And then they also posted that they were having trouble finding lender support, but now they've actually managed to do it.
Because I heard rumours that they were actually they were going to be shutting shop basically this year.
Well, their overheads must be larger than... But no, they can't be. Can't possibly be. I can never remember. Is $1 billion, $1 million, or 1,000 million?
Now, this depends on which side of the Atlantic you're on.
No, because we use the American system.
Well, we shouldn't be. The technical way for the UK to do it is $1 million, but the way for the Americans to do it is 1,000 million. But unfortunately, the lines seem to be getting crossed a little bit lately.
Yeah.
Sometimes figures are being quoted with the American terminology of 1,000 million rather than $1 million. So sometimes it looks a lot worse than it is.
Yeah, so, well, hang on. I have more numbers. More numbers and more. Sony's expected loss this March when they do the end of the financial year is $2.9 billion. So
it's a lot of money to lose behind the back of the couch.
It is. That is one massive couch. And on the subject of bears, Capcom's sales are down 29% and their income is down 47.2%.
This is now, like, you know, rather than talking about topiary or bowel movements or anything, Brain Go Hurty, the stockbrokers podcast.
I just find it interesting that gaming is apparently slaying all other forms of media, and yet everything to do with gaming is posting record losses. It just proves everyone is losing money right now.
Well, like, year on year, gaming is taking a bigger slice of the entertainment market. I mean, cinema in general has kind of dropped significantly over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, the last few years where they're saying that sales of games have, like, outstripped music and video combined is just... It's just insane to think that it went from something that before the PlayStation people considered it to be a niche thing for, you know, maybe nerdy people or an unsocial thing, and now it's become this huge thing that, you know, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, for me. Previously, gaming was just for people like me. Now it's for everybody.
I was brought up gaming. I was a gamer. I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer. Gamer.
Stop saying that so quick.
Say something.
Okay, well, let's move on from numbers then, because I've run out of companies that are doing badly.
Okay, well...
Those poor bears.
I want to talk a little bit about Alan Wake again. I'm going to flog this horse until every fucking... I'm going to say that word that I can't say because I have to bleep it out. Goes out and buys it. But the Alan Wake PC edition, this is further incentive for those people that don't like things like games for Windows. It's not less it's necessary. Windows Live, not necessary.
Hooray!
There's not going to be
necessary.
There's not going to be a demo. As far as I'm aware, the Steam thing's unknown. But you get both DLCs, the Signal and the Writer, with it.
That's good.
So,
because originally they weren't going to do it on PC because they just thought piracy not going to be worth it.
They said something along the lines of the target audience wasn't right or some bullshit. But
so they brought it out on the console that most people play first-person shooters done.
I reckon it would have probably done a lot better on the PS3. I reckon it probably would have.
Oh, are you trying to say they're more mature? Or
no, I've got both. So where does that classify me? Just greedy?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the PS3 is more mature. I don't think it's anything. I think it just some titles appear on one console, some appear on the other. That's why I've got both, so I can have the best of both worlds. I'm not limited to one. I hear about people that my girlfriend works with that they talk about how lucky I must be to have all these consoles and stuff. I'm thinking, luck's got nothing to do with it. I just go out and buy them. And it's because their other halves won't let them have a PS3. What do you mean?
What?
Won't let you have a PS3? What the fuck is going on there?
They're your partner, not your mother.
I was going to say, you're not 8 years old. If you want a games console, go out and fucking buy one.
Yeah. And if you want some crack, go out and buy some crack.
Exactly. And
the same thing applies.
And no, I'm not going to go down that route. I was going to get maybe a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Mail order bride. Do it. Although
mail order Russian bride.
Your partner might maybe have a few words about that.
Especially if it's a bear.
Exactly. Oh God, I've got an image of a bear in like, a bride's dress.
I've seen that porno.
Ew. So yeah, Alan Wake. If you didn't pick it up on the Xbox, it's probably going to be quite cheap when it hits the PC. I'm not imagining they're going to be charging £40.
I wouldn't think so, no.
So I would seriously recommend picking it up.
Were you also aware that American Nightmare is out this month?
I was not, but to be perfectly honest, right, I've been flogging Alan Wake, ever since we started the podcast. I haven't actually played.
I just imagine you whipping him now. Poor old Alan Wake, just getting flogged for no good reason. I'm a writer. Shut up.
I haven't actually played the second DLC.
Yeah, but Old Republic stuff happened.
Stuff happened, and then more stuff happened, and then more stuff happened, and now we're here. So I haven't actually played it, but what I'm going to do, right, is what's going to happen is that when we get this house at the end of the year, and I build this gaming cave and stuff, and it's going to have 2 flat screen TVs mounted on the wall side by side with 2 gaming chairs and stuff, so that Vicky can sit in the one next to me and play all the games that she hasn't been able to play because I've hogged the consoles and the TV and stuff for the last 4 years or whatever. Like
Silent Hill and things like that.
Well, not just that, but other things. I mean, she wanted to play like Heavy Rain and Alan Wake and all these things and stuff like that. I mean, she really, really liked that, and she was, getting quite into the story and things, watching me play. But it means that she can sit and play those things while I play something else. And
then when she makes nicey decisions, you can start moaning that she isn't letting her aggression out.
Exactly.
Turn her into a Sith.
Who says I'm not doing that already?
Feed on your anger, etc. Oh dear. Let's change tack here. What kind of random thing can I pick from my list? Oh, that brilliant game I saw in a supermarket. Do you remember this?
Oh God. I couldn't believe that this was real. I thought you were taking the piss.
I so wish I'd taken a picture of it to stick on the blog or anywhere. But in a cheap supermarket, shall we say, there's a PC game which was £3, and I think it's always been that price. It wasn't a reduced price. It was always £3. It was called Coronation Street: The Mystery of the Stolen Hot Pot. And Coronation Street, for people who don't know, is a soap in the UK.
I don't think Americans call them soaps. I think they call them stories. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, whatever. It's awful. And the front cover was just a bunch of old people, which is essentially what that program is.
Somebody stole Hot Pot. Who gives a fuck? It's a meal. That's it.
The next time I go back there, I'm going to hope that... Well, I'm going to hope... No, nobody's going to buy it.
Go back and buy it.
I was just to see where it's like and then do a walkthrough on YouTube.
Let's play Coronation Street.
This is the mystery of the stolen hot pot. Take that, people who wanted more Naruto and Dragon Ball.
That's what you should do. You should hold people to ransom. Say, I'll just keep doing things like this until you
start watching everything else that isn't anime.
Yeah. Promote the shit out of us, or I'll force
kill
you to watch.
No, not kill. Not again. You know what else is out this month? The PS Vita. Actually,
is it actually out this month?
It is out on the 22nd, and I know this because Gabe sent me a life-sized PS Vita advertisement. It's in the shape of it, so I can actually use it to compare it to the size of a proper PSP.
All right. And
it's about 1 inch longer and maybe a centimetre or 2 thicker. Higher. Height. Can't tell how thick it is, obviously, because this is a bit of paper.
I'm not entirely sure on the whole concept of buying another hand.
I'm a bit tempted, but like the 3DS, the launch title range is pretty crappy.
It's poo.
It is a bit poo, yeah. I had a little look, actually. I had some of them.
I just can't see when I would use it.
When you wanted to play something and you're on the move?
When does that happen?
When you're on the toilet?
I'm never on the toilet for very long.
Yeah, okay. Enough said about that. So
Enough about my bowels.
There's one called Shinobi-Do 2 Revenge of Zen, which looks like a bit of a Tenchu ripoff. That's out on launch, which looked okay. There's a Dynasty Warriors game out on it, which seems to overly try and use the front and back touch screens.
All of the first lineup will try to make the most use out of all the gimmicky things that nobody will actually ever touch again in the next batch of games.
On that subject, there's a Monkey Ball game at launch, because there always is. Every time, there's always a Monkey Ball game.
That's been ever since like the GameCube or something. Every fucking console's had a Monkey Ball game.
The one worth mentioning, though, at the end of April is when the Disgaea 3 port is out for it. And the ports always add extra stuff, and all the DLCs for free with it as well.
So what you're saying is that rather than buying... No, I'll just get it for the PS3. It's far cheaper to just get it for the PS3.
It would be. Even if you included the DLC cost, you'd still be only buying it for about $5 to start with, so yeah. But yeah, so that's it. I'll probably will get one eventually, but when the titles available for it are stronger. I'm kind of burned from the 3DS still. That line.
I would consider it if... the thing about the PSP that annoyed me was that games didn't work network-wise the way that they should. You know, you had to have like it was all like remote play, like close. It's
ad hoc. It isn't Wi-Fi or internet.
Yeah, that's the words I was looking for. What about the Vita? Is that the same? Can you?
It lists its features here. Let me see. It has a touchscreen. It has location data acquisition service. What the hell is that?
It has good sense of humor.
It has a microphone. It has cross-platform play with the PS3. That's not new. The PSP does that.
It has a 12-inch penis.
It has a front and rear camera. It has a touchscreen on the rear.
No, too easy. Keep going.
Oh, hang on. This is interesting. Cross-platform play with the PSP. Does that mean it streams from that? So you could actually
PSP,
play your...
Not PS3.
Yeah, for the PS3 as well, but it also says cross-platform.
I've heard about the PS3 thing, where apparently you can pause it on the PS3, go for a shit, take the Vita with you, and carry on playing.
A bit like how the Wii U is going to work, I think, as well, yeah. But that interested me.
No. The way the Wii U is going to work is that you're going to turn it on, and then put the Wii U in the toilet and take a shit on the Wii U.
That's very cruel. Nintendo's dying, and you're going to say that about it, you bastard.
I don't give a...
Yeah, I wish I'd read that list of features sooner, and I'm going to need to read up on it, because if it means I can stream UMDs from my PSP, then that's the problem solved.
But then you'd have to have the PSP with you and on as well.
I'm not going to throw it away, but I mean, it's just interesting.
No. What I mean is that, let's say, that's all well and fine if you're sitting at home, right? But the whole point of having a portable device is that it's portable. So to solve the UMD problem, you would have to take your PSP out and about with you with your Vita.
I'm aware. I know. It would be nice if
both of them battery
via that let you install the games. That would be good if it did it that way. And it also has motion sensors and dual analog sticks, without having to buy an extra add-on like the 3DS if you want 2 analog sticks.
Oh, Nintendo, what were you thinking?
Oh, Nintendo indeed. And did you know you can get a PS Vita for as cheap as £80 if you hand in as a trade-in an Xbox 360 Slim 250 gigabyte hard drive? Why would you do that? Why would you want to?
That's stupid. You're stupid.
Yeah. On the subject of stupid, I do have 2 topics regarding DLC. Unless you want to jump in with something first.
No, go ahead for your DLC.
Well, the first one is something CR mentioned to me, and I'm not entirely sure if it was cleared up or clarified since then, but he said that the most recent Gears 3 DLC that got released, I think it was the Phoenix map pack, something like that, it changed it so the dedicated servers for the game only worked for people who owned the DLC.
What?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if that turned out to be true or not. But
if it is, that's very, very naughty. I mean, that's one of the things. Well, that's one of the things that they said that they'd improved upon. They'd listened to the fans, and one of the things that people had the biggest bugbear about the multiplayer was host advantage, especially when it came to shotguns.
Yeah.
Host advantage was a bitch, and there was no denying it. Everybody knows it was fact, and you didn't find host advantage in Gears 3. You didn't.
Well, that's true. I didn't play.
And
much
if they're now saying that unless you pay for DLC, you're going to have to put up with host advantage again, that is just shockingly bad. And do you know what? I'm really not fucking surprised.
That Cliffy B, he's a.
I mean, like people have known for years that the music moguls and stuff are all a bunch of cocks and that they screw people over, and that obviously just gaming companies are just going the same way.
Well, the other bit of DLC news was in relation to Resident Evil 6, because
DLC
Xbox
news on a game that's not even out yet.
Yeah, bear with me, because Xbox.com kind of accidentally gave away some details about it, some of them which may or may not be true, but it was certainly interesting, because It says it has 1 to 2 player offline co-op, 2 to 6 online co-op, and they might be thinking, oh, that would just mean a versus mode, but it also says 2 to 8 online multiplayer. So,
right.
To match up with Resident Evil 6, they might be actually having a 6-player co-op mode.
How the hell would that work?
I don't know. It could just turn out to be its version of Horde or whatever, but I still think that might be quite good.
It might be interesting, but then...
And you know that post on Kotaku that said the 6 in Resident Evil 6 looks like a giraffe getting a blowjob? I read that and now I can't unsee it, and I hate the world.
I can't see it. I can see the giraffe, but I can't see the blowjob.
Consider yourself lucky. Just don't look at it, and everyone else who heard that, just forget I said it. Do not go looking, because you will never be able. It's like the GoldenEye box for the N64. You just don't unsee Pierce Brosnan's ape face after you see it.
Maybe that was like subliminal advertising, because it was Rare that produced that, and Rare also did the Donkey Kong games on the 64.
I think it's just the way the human mind works and tries to see faces regardless of...
No, I can't actually do any of those magic eye things either. And they say that people that have to wear glasses are actually better at doing it. So
you fail extra hard?
Yeah, either that or my brain is cleverer than my eyes.
Oh dear. Right, going back to the reason I was bringing up DLC, this feature on Xbox.com about Resident Evil 6 also listed DLC as a feature. So there you go.
Maybe in the past when they talked about that. I mean, I can remember when like the Xbox and the PS2. Well, okay, not so much the PS2, but the Xbox definitely. When they're talking about having the Xbox Live and having consoles connected to the internet, and you could get updates for games and things, stuff that only PC players had ever really experienced. Content and updates and patch fixes and all that sort of stuff. And it used to be a big thing, and now it's just taken for granted, and they've just turned it into how do we make money out of that. And the PC thing hasn't changed. It's generally still free. It's generally still earlier, and if you don't like the mod or the patch or the fix or whatever that the publishers do, you get one that somebody else has made that's better anyway.
Yeah.
This is definitely a very soapboxy podcast tonight, I think. I'm definitely
getting angry is good.
Okay, it doesn't help that I've just finished my slow gin.
Oh dear.
Alcohol fuel.
It clearly isn't working for Capcom though, all these crap-ass things that those bears are doing, because they're still making a loss. So it's not working. People are actually proving smarter and sensible, thankfully.
I think what it is that people have people keep pointing out about how music companies need to get with the times and find a better way of structuring their business model. And I think
maybe go stop worshipping Satan.
I think when it comes to gaming, I think the same thing's happening. It's just it's going exponentially faster. I think because of the way that it's boomed recently. I think they need to rethink how they approach it as a business.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of the cat that's trying to... I don't know what she's trying to do. It's like she's trying to float.
Less Satan, more sanity. Stop harassing your cat.
It's the other way around. I'm the one being harassed.
Is the cat female?
Yes.
If it goes to court, you'll lose.
I'll have to pay maintenance in cat business.
So, what would you like to move on to now? Do you have any? I have 4 miscellaneous type stuff.
Really quickly then, Never Dead. Have you actually looked into any details about this game?
I was going to watch a video review of it earlier, but stuff happened. I was leveling a Sith.
I had some of the details for the game read out to me this afternoon.
By who?
By Vicky.
Why?
Not sure. Maybe she was trying to help get involved in the podcast and stuff. Anyway,
okay.
One of the things that she pointed out is that you don't die. Like, your limbs just come off and you have to roll back over them to get them attached, right? Which
Right.
you're thinking, well, this is a bit like Captain Scarlet, isn't it? And then I got this really glazed look. And I was like, no, well, Captain Scarlet is invincible. So if he's invincible, where's the suspense? If you can't die, there's no real threat there. There's no terror. I mean, okay, other people can die, but who gives a fuck about them? So if you can't die, just your limbs come off and you can go pick them back up again, where's the suspense? Where's the thrill?
Yes, exactly.
Where's the tension?
Also, why did the Nestrons never just make any of their agents invincible? Why was it only Captain Scarlet? Because then you just have 2 folk fighting each other for eternity, I suppose, but then at least it'd be a draw, not a loss.
It'd just be like Dragon Ball Z. Take that!
Take that! So this is Never Dead, is it? The game that makes handicap fun.
Yeah, let's go with that.
On the subject of anime type stuff, I did play the demo of Naruto Ninja Storm Generations, and I was going to talk about it, but wouldn't that just be pandering to the people who only watch the videos of it?
It would. It definitely would.
It would. I'll just say then that they got rid of the one annoying thing from Storm 2.
Which was?
People spamming blocks so that they would trigger a replication, appear behind the person they were fighting, instantly do their ultimate, and do tons of damage.
Oh.
Now you can't do that because it's on a bar. It always works now when you press the button, but you can only do it a finite number of times. And you also can't guard while jumping.
Okay.
That's another it's just... There's a video out there on YouTube of like the 5 worst players of Ninja Storm that shows all of the tacky things that online players do. See, that's why I never play against real people in beat-em-ups, because you never get good at a beat-em-up, you just get good at exploiting it. And that's why
that's quite interesting you say that, because the only beat-em-ups that I've ever really sort of played for any length of time was Tekken 2.
Oh yeah, for Americans we mean...
No, sorry. Tekken 3. Oh yeah, they call them brawlers, don't they?
Yeah, they do the opposite way around from us. Yeah.
Tekken 3, because I had that on the PlayStation, and Dead or Alive 4, because I had that. It came with my 360. And you're right, it is just a case of, I mean, like...
It's finding which character is overpowered, or which character has the longest combo which can stem from landing a single hit, so that your opponent can't do anything about it.
If you listen to CR talking about them, because he's quite into his beat-em-ups or brawlers, depending on which side of the Atlantic you're on. He always talks about how, like, he's watching such and such a feed, and actually, do you know what, this is boring and shit, because there's only so many times you can watch people playing Sagat against Sagat, and playing the... You know, it's a case of, well, clearly there must be characters that are completely broken that everybody decides that they're going to use them.
I don't think it's a case of them coming out of the gates broken, it's just that people find little things that they've slipped through, like, in an early Naruto game there was a combo for Gaara that if you caught someone in it, they couldn't get out. Like, that sometimes happens in other beat-em-ups, although I don't really play them that much. But
there was actually one like that in Tekken 2 for King. Anyway, no, let's carry on.
Yeah, but the point is, I don't think it's possible to be good at a beat-em-up. I think it's just finding the ways to exploit it, and I don't think that's the same thing as having skill.
I mean, to a certain extent, I suppose, memorizing moves and stuff like that, but then...
That's proving you have a good memory.
Exactly, it's not proving you... Yeah.
That's not the same as using superior tactics in a firefight or in a turn-based game.
Too true. Play fair, everybody, or else I'll kill you.
No, online beat-em-up play will never change. And when developers try to fix it, like they did with that Dragon Ball game I've played recently, Tenkaichi, they ruined it.
Maybe that's why I don't play beat-em-ups, because I just don't find the multiplayer to be fun, because you'll always find that you'll be playing against people that are just abusing the system and it's not fun.
Yep, exactly.
I suppose that's the reason why they have, like, you know, anti-cheat tools and stuff for playing shoot 'em ups.
My anti-cheat tool of choice is a shotgun. No, I'm surprised you haven't brought this up yet, especially when we were talking about American Nightmare, since it's on Xbox Arcade as well. A game that we both know.
I was waiting for you to bring it up yourself.
Well, the Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah.
I have many fond memories of playing this at the shows when they arrived. The shows is like
it's a
carnival.
It's a carnival thing, yeah.
Yeah, where they roll up into your village, steal all your money, and then leaving behind like field covered dog crap and candy floss. Sometimes.
Where do they get all the dog crap? I mean, they must bring it in bags. They don't have that many dogs. They must just actually bring the shit with them to leave behind afterwards.
So isn't that weird? I used to go to the shows every time they were in my village, and I would never go on any of the rides because I don't like that kind of thing. I'd just go to the arcade, and my friends and I would find the Simpsons arcade, and we'd all play it.
The only time that I ever played it was on the ferry over to France.
Ah, so you don't have as many fond memories of it as I do?
No, because I didn't play it as often.
I was very tempted to get it, but...
Oh, so you're not planning on getting it?
It would never live up to the childhood memories, that's the problem.
Are you sure?
Am I sure that it wouldn't? No, I wouldn't be sure unless I tried it. And as far as I'm aware, there isn't a demo.
You don't want to run the risk?
If there was a demo, I'd give that a go. Because, I mean, I got the classic Turtles beat-em-up arcade game. Because I remember playing that, and it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm not reviewing a game from the 80s. It's alright.
It's one of those things where if you go back and play something that, in your mind was, one of the best things ever. And I'm going to be completely blasphemous here and talk about the Star Wars films. Because I got the entire box set on Blu-ray. And, starting at the start. And
you're only bringing this up because you know I disagree with you.
Exactly. And I want to see whether anybody else does as well. If like Flick, that you think that the original 3 is the better 3, then feel free to disagree and send in, to braingohurty@gmail.com.
Which is not to say I hate the new trilogy, by the way. It's just I think the original is better.
But my point is that I'm watching them through in order, right? Mm-hmm. So I've just watched through the newer 3. And as soon as you get through, I'm only actually at episode 4, so I'm not 100% concrete on this yet, but I like to start a bit of a flame war quite early on. But I'm actually not feeling episode 4.
Before you get on to episode 4, can I ask you a question about episode 3?
Okay.
If the Jedi Council were aware that a Sith Lord was influencing them and the Senate, why didn't they just force every member of the Senate to take a midichlorian account, and then the person who had a ridiculously high amount was clearly the Sith Lord?
Because, what I can't understand is how they just couldn't, they couldn't figure out it was him. I mean,
they had force impotence. They said at one point their use of the force had been made
diminished. Yeah,
conveniently. That's a convenient Deus Ex Machina right there. We had force impotence for a little while.
That's 2 references to erections in the podcast so far, just in case you weren't keeping track.
Only 2?
Yeah. No, there's probably more. If you can count them all, just go send it in.
If we want to catch up with 0 punctuation, we're going to have to do at least 5 metaphors for masturbation.
Right, okay. So the reason why they didn't figure it out is, that's not their way of doing things. It's innocent until proven guilty as opposed to guilty.
It's poor writing, and that's just one of many plot holes.
There's many plot holes, but when you do bridge that gap from episode 3 to episode 4, you realise that actually, you know what, maybe I haven't seen this in, a few years, or maybe it's been, a decade or so, or whatever, but they're not actually up to as much as your rose-tinted version of them is. So far.
You're crazy, Marge.
I am crazy, Marge.
Also, you've watched episode 4, so you're on to Empire Strikes Back, yeah?
That will be Sunday, yes.
That's considered the darkest of that trilogy, which makes sense, because a proper plot goes, you introduce a hero, you learn some stuff, then in the middle they go through a rough patch, and then in the third part they overcome that. The original trilogy got it in the wrong order.
But there's a reason for that. the original trilogy.
Bad writing.
Well, no. See, I like the way that it works because why we're sitting here talking about fucking Star Wars.
You seriously didn't find episode 1 ridiculously boring?
I didn't think it was as good as I did the first time I watched it. To be fair, I think I had a better impression in my head that it was a good movie. In fact, it was an okay movie. But I think the point is that like because for best part of 30 years or whatever, you knew of 4, 5, and 6. You knew how things happened, and it was a case of going back to how we got to that point.
Yeah, that's another thing.
First 3 films just built up and up and up, and they just ramped up on that. And obviously, he played on that, yeah, but it worked.
No, he tried to tie up too many things that didn't need tied up, like C-3PO and R2-D2 being in them. That was totally unnecessary.
True.
Also, why is episode 2 called Attack of the Clones? That is the worst film title ever.
Yeah, because the whole clone thing only kicks off towards the end of the film, and it's,
the last 5 minutes, the clones are there.
It's not even really that big a deal. No, I don't get that.
It's just George Lucas is insane, and he's not talented. The rumours are abound that for the original trilogy, he had a lot of help, and he was more open to hearing things. He didn't think he was the master of everything. And
after all that money went to his head.
I think actually it was more like Steven Spielberg got him into the mindset that special effects are better than plot.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh, there's also a very interesting mashup on YouTube where someone proves that episode 2 is basically just a rip-off of Empire Strikes Back, as in so many scenes are shot in the exact same way.
Huh. I'll probably
I'm not going to sit and list them, but I can show you another point. It's very interesting that he was clearly trying to imitate his own work. He was trying to bastardize his own work.
That's pretty fucked up.
Yes.
So, have you got anything else to clear up before we run into the roundup?
We should probably try and make ourselves sound more manly now that we've talked about Star Wars for 15 minutes by saying that...
It's fine, I'll just clear it up in the edit.
Okay, no you won't. That Aliens game that you were interested in...
Colonial Marines.
It's been delayed.
Yeah, I kind of suspected it will.
That's pretty much all I had on that. It's just it's been delayed.
It's been delayed.
Delayed.
I was saying that extra loud so that you didn't hear me opening this can of Diet Cola.
I'm afraid I heard you opening it.
This podcast is not endorsed by Diet Cola, I'll have you know.
But perhaps it should be.
If anybody at Coca-Cola wants to send me some money for mentioning Coca-Cola, then feel free.
No, he is not a role model.
I'm a role model for anybody that wants to get money.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Not a good role model, but...
No.
The last thing on my notes is simply tried haggis. So I tried haggis for the first...
Oh, right. It wasn't a question. I was thinking, what?
Sorry, did I go...
How much have I drank? What's going on? Are those my feet?
Did I say that was the Australian upward inflection? Tried haggis?
You did. Tried haggis?
Tried haggis. There we go, that's better. So despite being...
I have this image of you sitting there with like doing the fry with the 2 fingers, the sort of guns, the tried haggis?
Yes, I know the one.
With the one eyebrow raised at the same time.
So
hey, tried haggis?
First time in my whole life I've tried it, and I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. So in normal people words, that's you liked it.
It was on a pizza.
But in Flick words, that's I didn't hate it.
It was on a pizza, which helped, and I would say, yeah, spicy mince is probably a good way to describe what it tastes like for people who...
If you like, do you know what it is? See if you didn't know it was haggis and you tried that. So you would probably think, like, I don't know how your culinary experience goes, but like I think that I would describe it as being sort of Moroccan.
Oh, aren't you posh knowing a word like Moroccan?
Knowing a word like Moroccan. I know that there's another country out there. Ooh,
I think
look at me.
It tastes like spicy foreign food.
Well, it is if you don't live in Scotland.
No, I was meaning Moroccan.
Oh, my head hurts.
Do you have anything gaming related on your notes?
No, I've just got alcohol in the brain.
Oh.
Literally.
No, not literally. Don't use literally like that.
Literally.
No. That's one of my buttons. I don't like being pushed. People confusing literally and figuratively. Ooh, one person on The Apprentice said, I literally had 2 heads on me. That bitch, it was so annoying. I literally had 2 heads on me. I literally had another head spring out of my neck and tell me what a bad idea I had.
I love that you get so riled up about things. I mean, like, for someone with my personality and my mentality, it makes things so easy to please myself, because I like rattling people's cages. I like winding people up, and because you get wound up and because you react, that I mean, like, it took so long for me to stop doing the whole my connection's so much better than your connection thing, because you weren't reacting, and I kept at it until eventually I figured, right, okay, he's not going to react purposely. You were trying not to react.
Liar, wrong, incorrect. I genuinely didn't care.
He says that. Anyway, so
I think we're ready to wrap this up now.
Yeah,
with a pretty bow, and then mail it into oblivion.
It's probably a good idea. I'm starting to feel a few repercussions from that. Indian.
Well, how about for once I hear things?
Yeah.
We've already said the email address you can contact us at braingohurty@gmail.com. Please do it, or we'll talk about Star Wars more.
Yeah, it gives me something to do when I'm at work.
Yeah,
that's what I do. I check Twitter, and I check the mail and all that sort of thing.
Would you like 14-minute old breaking news?
Okay, sure, go.
The character selection screen for Generations has been revealed, so that's pretty much confirmed every playable character is in it, and there's quite a few. That's it. So also...
Exciting!
Yeah, well, for anime fans it is. So also, you can find us on YouTube, Flick FFXI, or Blighty Warrior for yours, or type in Brain Go Hurty and it'll find our stuff, assuming you've been remembering to do that as one of the tags.
Yeah, if you type Brain Go Hurty just about in fact into just about anything now, if you Google Brain Go Hurty, you'll find us.
Yeah, or FBI's Most Wanted.
But for some reason,
offender register.
Sex offenders. For some reason, they're like websites that have us on there but are of no affiliation to us. Do it. Go search Brain Go Hurty and have a look through, maybe not the first page, but like page 2 and page 3 on Google. Some of the...
How do you know it's not affiliated with the person who co-created the name with me all those years ago?
No, because it's about like some of our more recent podcasts and stuff.
Oh, it's one of those sites that like pick up random stuff from M4G and YouTube.
It must be, yeah. It's weird.
So
it's like they tried to recycle somebody else's recycled news.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's everything we can possibly hear, unless we have anything upcoming, do we? No.
Stay tuned for Blighty's Hangover tomorrow morning.
It won't be as bad as that movie, I assume.
The Hangover's good.
I don't care. I'll go back to watching movies when there's decent ones, and I'll go back to watching TV when I can ask someone, is Jeremy Kyle still on television? And they say no.
House is good.
Yeah, houses are good. Keep me warm.
Let's go play Star Wars.
Okay.